Hello everyone, I'm making a quick video to introduce a new library I just developed. This is a library that's been close to my heart for over 20 years. The goal was to create a tool that lets you make documents or presentations that are flexible, easy to maintain, and without limitations for people with advanced needs. With the development of artificial intelligence and the expertise in generative AI tools, I was also able to use this project as a pilot experience for the development methodologies I'm creating for the new generation of engineers. Software engineers who can use generative AI for software engineering. So I used our methodology for the development of this project. So let me tell you about the project. This library is a Python library that allows you, and I'll show you directly, to create documents, like the documentation for the library itself, which I created using the library. So you have a web page in your browser, and you can see that this library actually has 5 chapters: an introduction to the library, managing and using artificial intelligence. To create your documents, then an advanced user manual, a deployment guide so you can deploy and share your documents, and a development guide for those who want to contribute to the library. So when you click on the different chapters, you get to the introduction here, and the user can browse the documentation. We're going to use a few. There are some incredibly handy little features included, like easily managing the specific width, and the dynamic zoom settings right here. This way, you can adjust the display to fit your projection or how you want to view it. You have the table of contents, and you can search your document for sections that, for example, talk about images. So you can enter a set of keywords and jump to the different chapters. So, for example, typically. Here we get to the images section, and here we have the documentation that explains how you can insert a document, an image in a document, or in a slide. Of course, there's also a whole module that lets you insert images or use generative AI to create images and integrate them into your presentations automatically based on what you want to say. So we'll look at that in another video. So here you have the introductory manual, the advanced manual, and then the AI manual. So I've developed, let's say, 43 commands, 6 agents, 16 skills, and 4 profiles that can be used. And then there's everything related to deployment and all that, programming and development of the library. So concretely, it's a library that's available here on Pippi StreamTeX in version 0.48 for now. And of course, you also have the Git repo that you can clone, which is available here. So it's an open source library. You have the option to deploy it, just like I did, to illustrate all the documentation. So all your projects, your documents, your presentations, your slides that you want to make accessible to other people, you can deploy them on a service here. Render. So here I deployed the introduction on Render, which means you have a URL here that you can share for each of your documents or presentations. And so people can access your documents independently. Of course, there are different types of subscriptions here. There's a free subscription that lets you deploy. It's obviously a bit slower than on a regular machine, but it gives you access to your documents. So that's the first general overview. I'll also show you how it works when you want to give a presentation. Typically, if you install the artificial intelligence module, you'll get access with your Claude license on your project. Here you have Claude, which you launch in your projects folder after you've installed it. I'm not talking about the installation in this presentation. And then you'll request that the tool helps you develop your presentation from a high-level perspective by carefully outlining all the specific elements you want for the presentation. So all the inputs and all the requests. And little by little, enhance and update your presentation by directly engaging with the AI. So I did that and I got a presentation. Hello world. Yes, that's right. The port isn't available because I've started other ones. So once you've gone through this process, you'll end up with your first presentation, which is what I did for the Hello World, and you can launch the visualization of your project in your browser. Here, for example, is this little Hello World where I display Hello World and added a little button. Because, of course, these are presentations that can be completely interactive. And well, that's it. I'm going to show you a variety of sophisticated and advanced features that we have specifically included in the Comprehensive Advanced User Manual. So this library lets you create any kind of interactive presentation with all the power of a web page, Python programming, and artificial intelligence. So for example, you can integrate it with various other languages. If you have Markdown, you can absolutely insert Markdown, as you can see here. If you have LaTeX, of course you can insert LaTeX as well. That's where the name StreamTeX comes from, which lets you include LaTeX in your presentations. So styled Markdown, LaTeX, interactive presentations with buttons, these let you change the display and allow users to look at different things. And there you have it. Furthermore, you also have the convenient option to incorporate a variety of other specialized modules, such as the drawing modules or even the insertion of detailed tables. And you have, I'll go straight to the drawing modules. So typically you have powerful tools for inserting diagrams. In your presentations, you can use the full power of Graphviz to create these kinds of diagrams or things like that. You have all the capabilities of... What's the second option we added? So this is still Graphviz. Mermaid, Dringa. So you have mermaid diagrams, if that's something you use, with interactive diagrams. So you have diagrams, there you go, different kinds of diagrams you can create. You also have the option to use plant UML. So if you use plant UML syntax, you can insert your diagrams. There you go. This way you get a sense of all the types of diagrams you can make. You have ticks as well, so if your presentations are more scientific, you can absolutely insert your ticks diagrams into your presentations. Here's an example of a diagram. You have bibliographic reference management. So if you have references, you can absolutely reuse your BibTeX format. For those who use BibTeX or any other format, the library is compatible with several formats. Here they are. And so you can easily insert your specific references directly into your presentations, which will allow you to quickly access all of your saved references and insert them into the document. This comes complete with clickable links and interactive buttons so that people can, of course, make full use of your references whenever they need to. You have the convenient option when you are presenting specific lines of code or blocks of text in a particular language to either wrap or unwrap your lines automatically, for example. Here, if I actually had a window open on my screen right now, you would see exactly how this layout adjusts. That was less wide. If I unwrap, I can't see anything. If I wrap, I can see the entire line. So it's a choice the user can make, and you can apply it globally to the whole presentation. So that's really handy, especially for people in the technical field. And the last thing I might show you is interactive widgets. You absolutely have the option to create interactive presentations. And really, virtually any specific type of interaction is incredibly straightforward to incorporate. Even if you don't happen to have any advanced technical knowledge, you can easily add a lot of interactivity to your digital presentations and projects. What else can I add for you? But this is only a partial overview. I was just thinking that visual diagrams might actually be quite interesting too. So I think we have that in the introduction. There you go. You also have the option to create other types of diagrams like what you see on the screen, interactive bar and block diagrams. You can take a much closer look at the various specific sections of the display. This will be particularly interesting to anyone who generally works with data, data distributions, 0.5s, or other closely related fields of study. Any type of chart that you can include in your presentations and allow people to view the data. Of course, tables, that goes without saying. All right, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and get back to our example. And finally, here, I'm giving you a quick glimpse of what you can do to use AI to edit, update, and maintain documentation. As you can see, so now you have these different Claude components. So what I'm actually going to do is ask it to replace. So I'll show you a bit how we do that now. To use AI to develop presentations, maintain them, modify them, and enhance them. I'm showing you something very, very simple. But of course, you can use many more sources of information to design the first versions of your presentations. You'll see another video where I show this, where I give it, for example, the introduction to the library and ask it to make a presentation. In 5 slides about the StreamTeX library, Here, I'm just going to ask it to replace hello world with another phrase in the presentation. So what you see here is that it is connected to your entire project. It has skills that I have defined and that are in the different components of Claude, which are available and ultimately allow you to create and maintain your presentations without writing a single line of code, simply by explaining your intentions. As you can see here, it suggests changes to you, and you approve them if you have set up a validation request for each modification. And then you'll let it work so it does this properly, which saves you from having to go edit each of the files that contain the sentences, like we see here. It will automatically replace all of the sentences in the correct places so that your entire presentation matches exactly what you want it to be. So now that it is finally done, I am basically going to go right back to my original presentation and reload it to see the changes. And that's it, and so on. To put it more clearly and accurately, actually, I did not personally draft or compose a single one of the various elements found within the pages of the user manual myself. I just used advanced AI and various AI modules to produce absolutely everything you're going to see in all these detailed manuals that showcase the impressive features of the library. So this gives you a bit of an idea of the power of the library and its capabilities. Every one of the impressive presentations that you see right here was carefully generated using the advanced skill that we have developed for Claude. There you go. It is quite remarkable. More videos are coming soon, and I hope this short video made you want to try out this library. See you soon.